basically, my tips for this are: 1, don't get pushed around. 2, go at the end of the month because they're trying to get the cars out of there as fast as they can. 3, I forgot what I said the first time. I'm going to start over. Oh, yeah. Basically, that's how I got my brand new car at 19 with no cosigner, and it's a very nice car. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to just kind of talk about how I bought a car at 19 years old without a cosigner or anything. Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of go through the process of what I did, how I was able to achieve that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will give a little background. When I turned 18, I did go out and buy, well, it was a little after I was 18, so I did go out and buy a new car. So I've had 2 brand new cars, which some people frown upon that. That's fine. Everybody makes their own mistakes. I guess I wouldn't call it a mistake because it put me in the position to where I was able to buy a car, another brand new car, like traded it in, I guess. Sorry, I'm not really making any sense. I'm just going to go ahead and go from the beginning. So, when I was 18, I bought a brand new Hyundai Sonata. It was a 2018. And I actually had my mom co-sign with me on it. So that whole thing was super exciting, but my parents were very involved in that one. I had gone out and looked for cars, but then when I decided that was the one I wanted, I was deciding between that one and another one. So I brought them in to, make sure I was making the right decision, I guess, which I didn't really make the right decision, but whatever. I'll get into that. So I got that car. I had it for literally a year because when I bought my new car, I got something in the mail saying like, oh, happy 1 year, blah, blah, blah. So I had that car a year, and then in May of 2019, I actually went to get my oil changed, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to look at the SUVs because I was so tired of having a car. I only had it for a year, but I was in an SUV before I bought my car, and I was like, I really want an SUV. So I was like, I'll just look. So I was looking at the Hyundai dealership, and I really liked the Santa Fe's, but they were very much like out of my price range. So I was like, I'll look at the Tucsons. Well, I don't like how the Tucsons look. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to look at them and, see how much money I have to save for like in the future, maybe when I'm halfway done with my car loan payment thing or whatever. I don't know. Basically, when I bought my new Hyundai Santa Fe, I still owed $20,000 on my car. Yeah. So I was totally like in the hole still. But I did take really good care of that car. So basically I went in that day, and it was towards the end of the month, and I was looking at them, and my sales guy wasn't very pushy, so I will give him that. Like, I was pretty happy with that. So basically me and Zane test drove the cars. We looked at them. We even talked about them. Then he was like, well, we're having a deal right now. If you qualify, there's 0% APR. So obviously there's no interest on the car. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I was still like, there's no way I can afford this car. So basically he was like, well, let's just sit down and see if you even qualify for the no interest, because I was like, I wish I could afford the car because no interest, that's really nice. I would save so much money. So we sat down, and they did run my credit, which I know some people are like, oh, never have them run your credit like until you're ready to buy the car. But, me being 19 and whatever, I had him run my credit. So then he came back and he told me I did qualify. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like, I'm going to save like so much money. So basically then we sat down and we kind of started working numbers, but they were going about $20 above what I wanted to pay a month. So I was like, no, like, I'm sorry, that's too much. So then he got it a little bit lower. I don't remember the exact like numbers, but I was still like, no, like, sorry, but I liked my car. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that it was a car. So, and it was an SEL, so it wasn't the base model, it was the next model up. So it had my push to start, the electronic seats, backup camera, the the blind spot detection or whatever. So I was like, had remote start. So I'm just like, no, like, because then they were like, well, why don't you go to the base model of the Santa Fe? And I was like, no, like, I don't want to lose anything that I have in this car because I don't need a new car. It's just something that I want. So basically, we couldn't get the numbers right. So I got up and walked away. And let me just tell you, if you get up and walk away, they really want to work with you. Like, I don't know, when I bought my first car, I was too scared to get up and walk away. I didn't want to get up and walk away because I thought that meant like, oh my God, you can't get the car. No, you can still get the car. So basically we got up, we walked out, and then the salesman who actually sold me my first car was outside. So we were talking to him a little bit, and because he saw me like park the car after I test drove it. And he's like, oh, so like it didn't work out, like what's going on or whatever. And I kind of just explained the whole thing to him, like, oh, well, they can't get the numbers right, so I don't need a new car, I just want one. And he's like, yeah, that's the best time to look, blah, blah, blah. So the manager came out, and he was trying to get me to take the deal, or he was like, well, why don't you take the Tucson and get like the souped up version, it'll still be an SUV. And I was like, no, like, that's not what I want. I told him when I was buying my Sonata, it was between the Tucson and my Sonata, so why would I give up my Sonata for something that I didn't want in the first place? So he's kind of like, okay, whatever, like, because they weren't getting anywhere with me, like, I wasn't budging. So then basically we left, and he texted me, and he was like, I just want to let you know, like, if you change your mind, feel free to give me a call, whatever. So I'm like, okay. At this point, my car, they still had my car for the oil change because I forgot there was something else they were going to do. Oh, the sealant for the car that was going to cost a little more. So they still have my car. I hadn't picked it up yet. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go pick up my actual car, and then they're going to have a deal for me. So I went to go pick it up. Nobody said anything to me. So that was kind of disappointing. So I was like, well, of course, like, it was too good to be true. So the next day I was at work, and basically I just texted him and said, look, I'll budge on my price, but I'll only budge this much. So basically we did all of our like negotiating, I guess, over text message. And I just have to say my assistant manager, Carrie, at work helped me out so much because she said she had done her whole her whole car deal over email or the phone, or I honestly can't remember, but she was helping me out. And basically we got down to the price I wanted. And so I told him, I said, okay, well, is this the price walking out the door? Because you know how they always just throw random stuff in there. So I told him that, and he was like, yes, like, that's the price walking out the door. So like, okay, well, I'll be in at 6 o'clock. And I told him too, I said, I want gap insurance. I'm just a very cautious person. And I was like, if I don't get gap insurance, then I know something's going to happen as soon as I walk off the lot. Like, I just know it. So I ended up showing up when I said I would. Sure enough, you get there and they try to change the numbers. And I said, no, like, I have the text messages right here. I showed him the text messages because at this point I wasn't talking to the manager anymore. I was talking to my sales guy from the previous day. And I was like, no, like, I'm sorry. He came back. He was $1 off. And I said, no, like, you gave me this set price and that's what we agreed to. Like, I'm not taking anything like less or I mean more. So he went back up to the desk where they do all the numbers or whatever, and he came back, and sure enough, it was fine. So I said, okay. And then, of course, they try to sell you everything under the sun, and I'm just here to tell you, you don't need it. I'm sorry. I mean, if you have the money for it, then yeah, take it. But that's why I like Hyundai and Kia, because you get the longer warranty. And so then at that point, I was like, okay, whatever. But then I was nervous because I was like, so what are you going to give me for my car? Like, and this is kind of like backtracking, but in our messages or whatever, we were talking about like what we were going to do for the car, what they were going to give me for the car. And that was a whole nother thing all in itself, because it was like, well, I owe a lot on my car. So basically, they wanted to give me, like, they lowballed me so much, and I said, no, I'm sorry. I talked to so-and-so, which I didn't, I was just saying that, and they were going to give me so much more, so I'm sorry, but no, like, I'm not going to take that. So they ended up giving me, it was $15,500 for my car, so only $4,500 went onto my payment. Like, I was only upside down, which is so much better than I thought. Actually, they might have given me more, to be honest with you. I don't remember. I just remember I knew I was going to be upside down, but I wanted to be upside down the least like I could possible. So anyways, try to sell you everything under the sun. So basically, they took my gap insurance from my previous car that I had, applied it to my new car. So that took, I think it was like $500 off or something like that. Then they gave me a really good deal for my car that I was trading in. Then on top of that, I had 0% APR because I qualified, which I honestly could not have done without having my car previously with the car payment. That's why I say, like, it wasn't a mistake to, like, have the car that I had before, because it helped me build up my credit so I could qualify. So I qualified. So I walked out of there having 0% interest for 72 months. The warranty covered all 72 months. My payment was below what I said the highest would be, which that's another thing. If you're going in there and you want to put down money, do not tell them you want to put down money until the end. I got the numbers to what I wanted them, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to put down this amount of money. I ended up only putting down $500 because I didn't really need to put down money, but I did the math and it was like a few bucks off a month. So I was like, okay, like whatever, I'll put, because I had already had my money set aside for my car payment. So I was like, I'll just put that towards the new car. So I put $500 down, and which $500 was much more than my car payment, but that's what I felt comfortable putting down. So, and then of course, you know, they try to swindle you or whatever, and they're like, well, if you're gonna put $500 down, like, why don't you just apply it towards this insurance or this coverage or whatever it may be? And I'm just like, one, go at the end of the month, because they're trying to get all of those cars out of there and they will give you a deal. Two, pay attention to when they're having sales like the 0% APR, which I understand not everyone qualifies for, but you know, it's worth a shot. If you know you have pretty good credit, you'll probably qualify. I mean, I'm no expert, but my credit wasn't amazing, but it was good. Three, don't tell them you're putting money down until the very end when all the numbers are right, because if you tell them you're putting money down, somehow it gets lost in the numbers. And yeah, honestly, it was probably the best experience I had. I mean, I had only bought one other car before, but it went by super fast. I was super excited that I was 19 years old, no cosigner, 0% interest. Like, I was like over the moon about it. And it had more like upgrades in the car I had. Like, this one has the lane drift switch, whatever thing, where it like moves your car back in the lane. It has a few more things in the car that are more than the car I had. So I just don't let them push you around, because you know what you want. And honestly, I had a god-awful experience at Jeep, because I was going to get a Jeep. And basically, they just tried to tell me, like, you don't need that, you don't need this. No, don't let them tell you what you do and don't need. If you're going to be paying for it, then get exactly what you want. and be okay with getting up and walking away, because it makes them realize like, no. And if they come back with a $1 difference, say no, because in my opinion, if they're trying to get away with $1, who knows what else they're going to try to get away with. Like if they see that you let that slide, like, I don't know. And another tip, when they put out that paper, check every single number, every single, like, just make sure, because once you sign it, then basically, like, that's that. So just make sure that, like, I don't know, I guess just make sure it's what you want and all the pricing is the same and they didn't slip any numbers in there or anything. So yeah, basically that's how I got my brand new car at 19 with no cosigner, and it's a very nice car. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss the next time that I post a video. And comment down below what kind of videos you'd like to see. And if you're not following me on social media, make sure you go and follow me. That way you can get all my updates and just see what I'm up to every day. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.